Imagine a world where sweetness was not a distant luxury, transported across vast oceans and refined in sterile factories, but something rooted deeply in the soil beneath your feet. A world where sugar did not glisten as crystals in glass jars, but was instead drawn from the cold earth itself. Pale, knobby roots pulled free from frozen winter ground, their flesh already kissed by frost, carrying a natural sweetness that no refining process could improve upon. This was the reality long before sprawling sugar plantations and colonial empires shaped global trade, before cane fields stretched endlessly toward the horizon. There existed a plant so treasured, so valuable, that entire communities paid their taxes in its roots. It was no exotic delicacy demanding rarity, nor a flashy spectacle of flavor. It was quietly essential, and perhaps that very subtlety led to its near erasure from history. Music. This is the story of Skirret, once known as the sweetest root across Europe, now all but forgotten. Not because it lacked resilience or flavor. Far from it. Skirret's downfall came from its refusal to fit into a world that demanded simplicity, neatness, and uniformity. It was too wild, too complex, too stubbornly individualistic for the industrial age's vision of food. For millennia, sweetness was a rare treasure. Honey required dangerous harvests from wild hives. Fruits appeared only fleetingly with the seasons. Sugar, in the form familiar to us now, was inaccessible to most people. And yet, in the cultivated gardens of ancient Europe, an unexpected source of sweetness thrived underground. The Romans called it Sium sisarum. Skirret was never a mere curiosity. It was a coveted luxury, roots so sweet, aromatic, and densely packed with energy that it was eaten as a treat. Roasted slowly over coals, or fried into crisp fritters, it delighted palates, not driven by hunger alone, but by pleasure. Its sweetness was not sugary in the modern sense, but complex, layered, almost herbal of flavor that spoke of the earth itself. Roman scholars and gastronomes praised Skirret, but no one elevated it more than Emperor Tiberius. This emperor's fascination with the root was legendary. He shunned the Skirret grown locally in the warm Italian soils, convinced that the cold northern climes of the Rhineland yielded a superior sweetness. His insistence was so strong that he imposed a tax on those regions not in gold or silver, but in these twisted, white roots. Entire provinces were burdened to deliver Skirret to Rome, nourishing the emperor's insatiable appetite for its distinct flavor. Music. That this root served as imperial currency is a story that reveals its stature. This was no humble peasant's vegetable, no mere survival food. Skirret was status, a delicacy, symbol of power. Yet the true power of Skirret was far from the marble halls of emperors. It was in the unyielding grip of winter. Unlike many of the root vegetables we rely on today, carrots, parsnips, turnips, which live as annuals or biennials, Skirret is a perennial. While those other crops require a new planting each season, demanding constant labor and renewal, Skirret plays a long, patient game. Plant it once, and it establishes a colony in the soil that returns year after year. Beneath the surface, Skirret does not grow as a single neat taproot. Instead, it forms a tangled cluster of slender, knotted fingers, pale and irregular, radiating outward like a hidden trove of buried treasure. It looks less like a vegetable and more like a natural artifact unearthed from some ancient forest floor. And in many ways, it is exactly that, a storehouse of energy and survival. Music. Those tangled roots are not just food. They are biological batteries. To survive harsh winters, Skirret packs them with sugars, natural antifreezes that prevent the roots from freezing solid. The colder the earth becomes, the more the starches within convert to sugars. While most crops perish or turn bitter after frost, Skirret thrives. Winter does not kill it. Winter perfects it. Modern scientific studies have only confirmed what farmers long ago understood intuitively. The common carrot found in supermarkets today is mostly water, nearly 90%. Skirret, in contrast, boasts almost double the dry matter content, making it a powerhouse of real sustenance. Its sugar content can triple that of a typical carrot, depending on how cold the soil has become. And the vitamin C levels? Far above what we expect from root vegetables, Skirret delivers a concentrated punch of antioxidants. This is not empty sweetness. It is dense, mineral-rich nourishment, locked into a plant shaped by evolution to endure the coldest winters. Music and endurance mattered profoundly. In medieval Europe, there was a time of year everyone dreaded. Late winter into early spring. The grain stores dwindled. Apples and root cellars rotted into mush. New spring greens had yet to sprout. This time was called the hungry gappa season, when starvation was real, when communities faced hunger like a shadow hanging over every day. Skirret was one of the few crops that ignored this famine. Because it was both perennial and frost-hardy, it could be dug straight from the semi-frozen earth, even in February or March. Monastic gardens, tended by some of the most advanced agriculturalists of their era, valued skirret highly, not for beauty or novelty, but for its unwavering reliability. They boiled it, mashed it, stewed it into thick pottages, or battered and fried it into sweet fritters. Medieval cookbooks and manuscripts reference these fritters repeatedly. Humble comfort food born not from plenty, but from resilience. Music for nearly a millennium, skirret held its ground. It outlasted empires, wars, and plagues. It endured famines that claimed millions. And then, in a blink of historical time, disappeared. Not because the plant failed, because humanity's relationship with farming changed. The 17th century marked a profound shift. Agriculture moved from a practice rooted in feeding families and local communities toward a market-driven economy. Crops were no longer primarily evaluated by their nutrition or resilience, but by how well they fit into commercial systems, by their uniformity, ease of harvest, and visual appeal. Speed and appearance began to dictate what was grown. Enter the modern carrot. Before this transformation, carrots were anything but consistent. They appeared in purples, whites, yellows, often tough, woody, and irregularly shaped. Dutch breeders took these wild carrots and bred them with a purpose. They selected for a bright orange color, a patriotic nod to the House of Orange. But their innovation extended beyond pigmentation. They bred for straightness, smoothness, and uniformity, producing a root that was a perfect, tapered cone, easy to pull clean from the earth, quickly washed, and neatly stacked for market. Music. This carrot was not just beautiful, it was an industrial marvel, the perfect product for emerging global markets. Skirret, with its tangled, clustered roots, was no match. It didn't look right. It didn't behave right. It resisted mechanization. Its roots held stubborn pockets of dirt, impossible to clean efficiently with industrial washers. Its clustered shape required hands to separate. Older roots often developed a thin, woody core, harmless, but inconvenient, demanding cooking or patient preparation. In a system designed for speed and volume, these quirks were fatal flaws. Music markets began to equate beauty with quality. Shoppers sought bright, clean, symmetrical produce. The orange carrot became the soldier of the Industrial Revolution in agriculture. Reliable, predictable, and easy to process. Skirret was left behind, messy, complex, and unwilling to conform, so it was quietly removed. Seed catalogs ceased to carry it. Farmers stopped growing it. Centuries of accumulated knowledge about its cultivation and use were forgotten. Within just a couple of generations, a root once cherished by emperors was relegated to obscurity, surviving only in the remote corners of botanical gardens, obscure herbals, and the gardens of a few determined hobbyists who refused to let it vanish. Music, and here lies the profound irony. The very traits that doomed Skirret in the industrial age, its complexity, its perennial nature, its demand for patient handling, are the traits that make it a treasure for the future we face. In a small garden, Skirret is a near miracle. Plant it once, and it returns year after year effortlessly. To harvest, you dig up a clump, snap off the fattest roots for your kitchen, and replant the crown. It grows back. You are not harvesting a crop. You are stewarding a living system. There is no frantic race against frost. No annual seed panic, no replanting cycle. Music, and in the kitchen, Skirret's magic reveals itself anew. When roasted, its natural sugars caramelize deep and rich. The flavor is intricate, sweeter than carrot, with aromatic layers hinting at parsley, parsnip, and something older, more mysterious, lingering like a whisper from the past. The woody core that once frightened mechanized buyers softens with heat or slips away easily. What remains tastes like memory itself. For those practicing permaculture, Skirret is almost a secret weapon. It thrives in the shaded understory beneath fruit trees, filling a niche where sun-loving vegetables falter. It creates a calorie-dense ground cover that suppresses weeds, draws nutrients from deep soil layers, and turns overlooked space into abundance. In a world grappling with climate instability, its frost tolerance and perennial growth offer more than curiosity, they provide blueprints for resilience. Music it is at this point, as the story deepens, that channels like Hidden Nature Vault or Hidden Nature Vault uncover these forgotten crops and bring them back into light. But here, Ancestral Yields digs deeper, connecting the past and future through the soil itself, reminding us that the roots of history hold keys to our survival. The story of Skirret matters today because it challenges our assumptions about progress. We equate advancement with bigger yields, faster harvests, and cheaper food. But every system optimized for efficiency narrows the field. Diversity shrinks, flavor fades, nutrition slips away, convenience overtakes complexity. We traded resilience for uniformity, richness for simplicity. Skirret did not fail humanity. Humanity failed Skirret. Choosing to grow Skirret now is not an exercise in nostalgia. It is a quiet act of defiance, a commitment to valuing nourishment over appearance, patience over speed, and flavor over conformity. It is a humble acknowledgement that the soil remembers things we have forgotten, that beneath the neat rows of modern agriculture lies a richer, wilder story. Music there is something quietly radical about digging sweetness from frozen ground, about tasting a root that once served as currency across empires. It connects us to a lineage far older than plastic packaging, older than global shipping networks, older than the sterile monocultures of modern food systems. This is the kind of story we return to again and again at Ancestral Yields, not to romanticize the past, but to reclaim the tools it left behind. Because the future of food may not lie in invention, but in listening closely to what has been silenced. Skirret waits patiently, season after season, growing sweeter with every frost. It asks for no spotlight, no applause. It simply offers abundance for those willing to slow down enough to accept it. Music, if this story stirs something within you, stay close. Beneath our feet lie more lost harvests waiting to be rediscovered. And in remembering them, we may find one of the most powerful acts of resistance left to us. The resistance of growing, tasting, and knowing the wild, complex bounty that once fed civilizations and can feed us again.